Okay. He's actually a writer for children, but he's sold over 1 million copies of his poetry books. And he has many dozens of them, and he was the first U.S. children's poet laureate. And this is a poem by Jack Prelutsky. It's called Haunted House. There's a house upon the hilltop. We will not go inside, for that is where the witches live, where ghosts and goblins hide. Tonight they have their party, all the lights are burning bright, but oh, we will not go inside the haunted house tonight. The demons there are whirling, and the spirits swirl about. They sing their songs to Halloween. Come join the fun, they shout. But we do not want to go there, so we run with all our might. And oh, we will not go inside the haunted house tonight. So Jack lives in Queen Anne and on Bainbridge, if you didn't know that. So, and yet, you know, he's a big seller for poetry. So our first open mic reader tonight is John Labina, and his answer to the question of favorite Halloween activity is handing out candy to very little kids. John Labina.
Thank you. And the little kids are the really tiny little cute ones, you know, that come with the little, and they're like afraid of you, and you give them the candy, and they're afraid to take them. They're just so sweet. I have a couple. One is the Halloween poem, or three actually. One is the Halloween poem. This first one, I was in New York, and I had a chance to go to the Mostly Mozart Festival at Lincoln Center. And this is a poem about letting your personal life sort of intrude on what should be enjoying. It's called Lincoln Center. Sweet melodious fusillade lulls me into quiet submission. 4 movements each building on next, 3 pieces for a string quartet. 2 masters speaking just to me across the vast expanse of years, an opus played for each of us in A's major and E minor. Not enough to hold attention that wanders with notes rise and fall. I should converse with Herr Mozart. Instead, I'm yelling at you. And then this one's about a cat that just sort of sat and, you know how cats stare at you with those insufferable looks that make you feel like you're this small. There's a Siamese fat cat. Siamese fat cat, patio sitting, tail quickly flicking, bright eyes unblinking. Siamese fat cat, how are we knowing on this cool evening what we'll be seeing? Siamese fat cat, you should be looking, coyote's coming. Soon he'll be eating. And this, last week I was in Chicago and had a discussion with a friend of mine who's a sociology professor, and I'm more of a natural scientist. And she didn't think that facts, she maintains that facts are sort of relative. There are no absolutes, sort of thing. And I said I didn't think that was true because for me, a hydrogen atom has a proton and an electron everywhere in the universe, so it's a fact. So anyway, in honor of Halloween, I wrote this. It's called Stalked by the Undead Facts. With chainsaws buzzing like zombies lurching in unrelenting pursuit, facts are independent and reproducible, inconvenient and irrefutable. Impregnable and impervious to any fear, facts say to hell to whatever you hold dear. Marching forward and strangling ignorance, blazing torches, facts shine with indifference. Limits to knowledge are failings we got, the universe cares not. Undead and heedless of your acts, facts are always facts. Mysteries are exciting and wonderful, making our myths seem so delightful. But truth is never diminished by dark things unseen or ideas not yet finished. Scary and creeping, screaming and shadowing, haunting our every dreaming, hacking to pieces our favorite stories, slashing and slaying with no worries. Facts do battle with all that is evil, those devils that straddle our hopes primeval. Some things are relative and comparative, but facts are always facts. Thank you.
Thank you. You should share that poem with that fact denier. Our next reader is Britton Bangs, whose favorite Halloween activity is to dance. Britton.
I'm in the Judith camp for Mike Height.
And this is your first time reading a soul food?
Yeah, this is the first time I've shared my work. Yeah. Thanks, Tyler. Okay. The eye is a prism that turns in verse. It takes 2 sets to see true. Shema, or hear, listen. Why are we looking in prison? There's nothing in the mirror. That's called prism. Child's blues. As I walk in the darkness along the chain of boxcars, they begin to look like something hyenas might crawl out of, like elephant carcasses and high craggy walls. And I begin to wish that I'd never seen them as a child. Now the lion has lured us into his gaze. He's beckoned us into his game of raises. We've accepted his position and his friendship and his loan at the forfeit of our high perch high atop the railroad. As I walk in the darkness along the chain of boxcars, they begin to look like something hyenas might crawl out of. If I ever have a book, I think it might be called A Recent Study Found That Most Americans Can't Point to the Sun. Walk into any office and take a survey and see how that goes. From the new tunnel where I live, I can see Cortex, whose wife stabbed him, cross the road at the walk, look at the car that grazed him, and move a wrapper from the ground to the bin. It's a work in progress. I mean, we all are. The angels with their many arms and eyes and wings at work at their anvils, hammering us until the roof catches fire. Doom. Doom. Until we sing the same note, they'll hammer. Doom. Someone put Adam in this black hole, and we spend our whole lives with our heads upstream, unlike plants which have their heads the right way. How do you wanna die? Swan dive in a black hole. What's on the other side of a black hole? Someone put a dam in this black hole. Now it's all clogged with flesh and earth. Doom. They'll hammer. Doom. Until it all falls through. Shema. Oh, one more. I have many short ones, but I will read the one that I think is actually worthwhile for people to hear. Every disability is an ability with an outlet. Your personality and physicality all spiral from the same DNA. The curl of your hair is a manifestation and precursor to your trends. They treated opium like hookah, taking a hard drug lightly. Not necessarily because it was weaker back then, but because it wasn't refined like whole grain instead of white flour. And I'll tell you, people is killing themselves with these white flour drugs. That was defined to be a blessing before they were refined. And OCD is a prerequisite to the position of Maestro's rememberer. Because you have to know where everything is to have a house with no disorder. To remind you, the rememberer is the one that listens and documents the movements of the master, to recall at the right times the movings of the spirit to encourage the minds of the otherwise lost. To stick your hand into the spines of the holy puppets, and I don't mean to degrade them, because they're more than anything I could ever be, because she's taller than me and smarter than me, but I'm her backbone, putting my hand on her shoulder so she knows she won't fall, and it's clear that she's enjoying my touch, so the purpose of it is really just an excuse to touch something beautiful, while being thankful that Dad is giving me a chore so I feel important enough. And he can see me looking real proud riding my bike at such a young age. When in fact, this is what he made us for, and it's nothing special. But we have to think it's special, or else it's not. Or else it's not an extension of his mind. It all is. And maybe you are washing your hands every 5 minutes because you were born to be a surgeon. And you keep all your diameters of screws in rows and hanging jars because you're the head honcho in the garage. So don't accept the diagnosis.
Spooks by Sandra Laetis. There's a goblin at my window, a monster at my door. The pumpkin at my table keeps on smiling more and more. There's a ghost who haunts my bedroom, a witch whose face is green. They used to be my family till they dressed for Halloween. Our next reader likes dressing up as obscure people. Is it Becca Lubkeman? Am I saying that right? Yeah. Please welcome Becca.
I thought I would start my 3 poems. The first one being about how I don't like speaking out loud, so you all know how uncomfortable I feel. Okay. Excuse me if I seem spaced out or mentally disconnected. I assure you I'm connected, just not to anything here. Sorry if you're tired of translating my responses to your inquiries. I promise you it's just as frustrating being in my head with all these words and their possibilities, with my thoughts debating but not ever becoming understandable sentences. Speaking aloud I find quite daunting. It often reveals my deficiencies. In fact, it feels humiliating. But I can't ascertain that there are any potential remedies except to continue writing out my thoughts and ignoring conventional preferences. The other 2 poems that I wrote are about love, both like the really bad kind, like toxic infatuation, and then like the really good kind. So I'll start with the bad so we can leave on a good note. This is called Toxic Love. Your presence was intoxicating. Your eyes were so asphyxiating. Amazed by you, I fell for you with every bated breath. Everything about you was so appealing. Something within me began awakening. My existence, Around you it revolved. All control, to you I'd absolved. This love was a disaster in the making. I didn't know I could feel this way. You literally took my breath away. Belong to me, satiate me. If I ask you to, will you stay? Bewitching and enticing, you became my one and only. Your eyes, your hair, your breath, your lips, to me they all seemed heavenly. Love is blind, they say, but no, I saw more clearly every day. Colors seemed more vibrant, changing from a dismal gray. This love fully consumed my soul, but I begged for it to take me. I thought that he had made me whole, that I was being set free. I wanted him to show me all that this possibly could be. Little did I know the phrases make sense. Play with fire, you'll end up burned, and these violent delights have violent ends. What was killing me made me feel alive, but I wish I knew that although I'd survive, my heart would be sold as the expense. This is a more hopeful view on love. Pardon my distraction. It's just that the attraction between us is tangible. The glances are palpable. There is something betwixt us that seems inexplicable. I think that it's plausible. The idea seems quite possible. I think there's a chance this is not happenstance. I think you deserve more than just a mere glance. I know I'm not that eloquent, and forgive all of the sentiment, but your eyes, I get lost in them. You're witty and intelligent. Your smile makes my stomach drop to the floor. I didn't think it was you I'd end up falling for. I wonder, though, if you are blind, or if maybe you might also find the future now seems to be gleaming. Maybe you're what my soul has been craving, the real unsaid source of all my daydreaming, the North Star to where my heart's compass is aiming. Oh, you know, does it even need saying? Thank you.
Thank you, Becca. I think we'd all love to get a poem like that. Thank you. The last one. This next poem is by a poet named Anne Anonymous. 5 little pumpkins sitting on a gate. The first one said, "Oh my, it's getting late." The second one said, "But we don't care." The third one said, "I see witches in the air." The fourth one said, "Let's run and run and run." The fifth one said, "Get ready for some fun." Then whoosh went the wind, and out went the lights, and 5 little pumpkins rolled out of sight. Our next reader likes telling ghost stories. I don't know if we'll hear any tonight. But I did want to at least mention Herb McLeeds is our next reader, and he has a brand new book out, Heaven's Drumhead, and you probably have copies if people are interested in looking at them. So whether he tells ghost stories or not, Herb McLeeds.
This is going to be fun. First of all, Mike, I recall a line by Pound. "Summer is a comin' in, loud sing goddam. Skiddeth buths that sloppeth us, loud sing goddam." I thought it might be up your alley. Okay, I was expecting to read some poems tonight, and it occurred to me with this group, it would be good to try to do something together. I've been writing some music from time to time within the last couple of years, and I have the lyrics for something, and I'm trying to work it out, how it would actually sound. And so there is a chorus in it that if you help me with it, and we sort of just do it together, I may learn more about how to write this song. Does that make any sense? And also, it's a young type song. So, Old Guy Thinking Young. That's not the name of it. It's called The Lady Grey. And the chorus is, Let me go, let me be, let me sail the wide, wide sea, with its wild waves slipping any hold. Let me go, let me be, let me sail the wide, wide sea, for its warm embrace, however cold. And I prayed it to be as I sail the wide, wide sea, for a ship swift and yar, race is won. Then I prayed it to be as I sail the wide, wide sea, and my soul with the sea danced as one. Then the chorus again. And the tune will change because I don't carry a tune that well, but anyway. Let me go, let me be, let me sail the wide, wide sea, with its wild waves slipping any hold. Let me go, let me be, let me sail the wide, wide sea, for its warm embrace, however cold. Then through the glass I did see, while I sailed the wide, wide sea, in the spring, her bright flag on the heights. Through the glass I did see, while I sailed the wide, wide sea, in the fall, bonfires on starry nights. Let me go, let me be, let me sail the wide, wide sea, with its wild waves slipping any hold. Let me go, let me be, let me sail the wide, wide sea, for its warm embrace, however cold. Much later. 'Tis by grace I am free. Long I've roamed the wide, wide sea. On the Lady Grey I wait the tide. 'Tis by grace I am free. Long I've roamed the wide, wide sea. And yet the green hills call, home abide. And yet the green hills call, home abide. Let me go, let me be, let me sail the wide, wide sea, with its wild waves slipping any hold. Let me go, let me be, let me sail the wide, wide sea, for its warm embrace, however cold. Thank you.
Thank you, Herb. And I think your book came out very recently, right?
Yes, I'm on truck and back. It's $12.95, but tonight $10.
Okay. Thank you. Our next reader is David Jensen, who likes haunted houses. And I'm curious, have any of you guys been to the Nightmare at Beaver Lake in Sammamish? Heard about this haunted house? It's worth checking out if you've not heard of it. David Jensen.
I read something that I hadn't written last time. All right. First time I've actually read something that I've written, so hope you enjoy it. This one's called Buttercup. My dog could not get enough peanut butter. Adam's all-natural organic. I spilled the jar once, on the floor. He eats it like a prisoner of war recently free, eating his first steak in 5 years. He found a way, fixing his X-ray eyes on the pantry door, staring at the spot the jar would rest, coaxing our cat, his partner in crime, to knock it over while I was away. I tried everything, unable to enjoy even the simplest of late-night snacks. Unable to rebuke the puppy dog eyes that otherwise offered me so much joy. I tried other things, bananas, baked goods, butterscotch brittle, and even some high-quality bison meat from Whole Foods. I finally attempted a chocolate bar. He wouldn't even wander near it. And this morning I find my stomach aching from too many chocolate-covered buttercups. This one's called Sunshine and Adventure. I was just one. Okay, sorry, I have to introduce. Do you guys know what those? In the springtime, there's like these. They look like dandelions that are bloomed, and they're like in the air, and you catch it, and you make a wish, and you let it go. You guys do that? Okay. Those are called milkweed seeds. I was just one of many milkweed seeds, floating in the sky on the soft late summer eve. I was lighter than life, or the air at least, because the big blue was mine. If my will was strong, I would have struggled, instead letting the wind take me. The people believed that I could grant their wishes if they would free me from my fall. The one with gray hair asked me if she could die in her sleep. The boy with the ball asked for 20 points. The man in Armani was eager for a promotion. The girl with the glasses wanted straight A's. The irresponsible biker asked for something indecent. The farmer asked for freedom from labor. I do not know if I can grant their wishes. I only wish to sail as high as heaven, and when I arrive, I will ask the angels to grant their dreams. Thank you. One more, really quick. This one's called Sticky. The trash can had soda dripping down the wrong side of the plastic. He had missed. Coke half empty, flattened by the August evening sun and the oxygen that keeps us all alive. His candy bar had melted as well. He loved chocolate too much to throw it out. He imagined himself at dinner, chocolate on his cheek, his wife wiping it off with a wet towelette, his face blushing with embarrassment. His wife was gone, ashes scattered. He was sailing the Pacific, letting her go. But he had a sugar rush going, and he felt okay for the moment.
Thank you. This is Halloween by Mary Jane Carr. Witches flying past on broomsticks, black cats leaping here and there, white-robed spooks on every corner, mournful moaning in the air. Goblins peering out of windows, spirit things that rap and run. But don't be scared, it's just October, having one last hour of fun. Our next reader is Eilina Goodkin, and she likes dressing in costume, even if she didn't dress up tonight.
Okay, I think I'm good here. Okay, so first the Halloween poem and then something else. This Halloween, it's dark inside me. I don't need a costume. It permeates my being and children run. Be scared. What this year has done, I am a changed woman, dragging my leg behind me. Watch out, I'll eat your brain. I have always loved Halloween. It's my birthday. The crisp air, golden leaves, electric potential in the wind. Oh yeah, I grew up in way different weather. Now the bone shows. The livid scars abound. The hair is thin and scraggly. Be scared. Run. Go far away. Don't risk. It might be contagious. Brain. Sautéed, braised, or deep fried. This is called That's What I'm Used to Having Men Feel About Me. Years ago, another life, living on my own, going through a divorce, All the usual cliches spiced up by participation in a writer's community. Dating two men, both fine artists, poets, one a musician. It was my hot era. I was pursued, desired, always in the gossip. I liked it. I wasn't as humble then. Finally free, time to make a choice. I chose the strong one, the sure one, not the one who needed me like air. He was not reconciled to my decision, began to drink and fall asleep on my porch for several nights. His friends delicately collecting him like broken dishes and depositing him in his bed. I ached for his pain. But he was not the one. Years later, I still wish I could make amends, but he is not to be found. All my life I have forged ahead, never making the pursuit of love a priority. It has always found me on my way. Spoiled, I guess. That's what I'm used to having men feel about me. Why don't you?
Next, we have Hannah Hendrickson, who likes concocting potions.
All right. I'm reading from my phone, so just a sec. This one's called Conch Shell. Your mouth is a conch shell. When I put myself to it, I hear the ocean swell. That soothing, hushed note becomes the wispy boat that transports me away. But the sounds emitted from your lips are only a reflection of the pounding of my blood under your eclipse. My body puts words into your mouth. But fickle as hungry fowl, they fly, once sated by that which lays south. The sweet things you utter are merely a conch shell's echo of your fingers on my skin aflutter. And this one's called The Universe. The universe is pressing in, opening her body to you. She wants you to feel her skin. All your life she has been calling, but you've yet to understand meaning in the hush of leaves falling. When the ocean kisses the shore and tiny waves lap your toes, does the universe caress your core? Do you feel her love enclose? Like cool breezes over your blank face, too long confined in square rooms with thin, stale air and mechanical fumes. Oh, what a difference pure air would be to those starved lungs of yours. But would your humble dwelling leave if you knew the vastness of her shores? When you look out over the ocean and see nothing at the end, do you fear you might lose herself to the strength of her eternal winds? The universe is pressing in, stretching out her arms to you. There is peace to be found within. She wants you to touch her body, feel the curvature of the earth. The universe has been vying for your attention since the moment of your birth. Thanks.
Thank you, Hannah. This poem is Halloween by Harry Bain. Tonight is the night when dead leaves fly like witches on switches across the sky. When elf and sprite flit through the night on a moony sheen. Tonight is the night when leaves make a sound like a gnome in his home under the ground. When spooks and trolls creep out of holes, mossy and green. Tonight is the night when pumpkins stare through sheaves and leaves everywhere. When ghouls and ghost and goblin host dance round their queen. It's Halloween. Next we have Kaylee, who likes taking my little siblings trick-or-treating.
Hello, everyone. So, for those who don't know me, I do a lot of leadership stuff with women in the community, especially young girls. And I was like, all right, all gung-ho, we need to heal young women, right? And then I realized, well, a big part of that is healing young boys. And I happen to have two little siblings. I have a little sister who's 3 and a little brother who just turned 6. And so the other day when I was hanging out with my little brother at his soccer practice, this kind of came into my head, and I wrote a letter to him. So it's not really, it didn't start out as a poem, but I guess it could be called a poem. So this is the letter that I wrote to him. Dear little brother, the world seems like a scary place for little boys. It always seems like you're too tall or too gangly or too sensitive, and being too much is scary. So I see you withdraw and get angry because that is what the world deems acceptable for little boys. I remember the first day that you called me Kaylee in front of your friends, which seems so grown up from the name you gave me and I've grown so fond of. I remember you calling me Tay-Tay ever since you learned your first words. I remember you announcing it proudly whenever we would meet new people. You would stand there with your chest held high and tiny fingers pointed towards me as you announced with such joy and seriousness, "That is my Tay-Tay." I remember when you weren't afraid to kiss me or hold my hands in front of a crowd, but now I see you slowly slipping more and more away from you and your loving self and more towards this tough character that you think you should be. So let me just remind you that I will always be your Tay-Tay, and that nobody really fits in this mold of what we think we should be. Seriously, most people go their entire lives trying to figure it out. Know that you will always be enough, and at the same time, you will never be too much. Know that a heart that is soft with compassion is one of the most beautiful gifts you can give anyone, and that emotions are okay. Know that your tears are precious and sacred, and I'll always be here and have a soft shoulder that you can cry on. Remember that no matter how big you get or how much you push me away, I will always be here with arms open and heart ready so you have a soft place to land. Whenever everything seems dark and complicated, know that there are some things that will never change. The earth will keep spinning, and a new day will always follow a night. And know that you can't finish a race in a step, but learn to embrace all of the little steps along the way. Buddy, you will get taller and ganglier, and trust me, it only gets worse. Luckily, it doesn't last for long, and eventually you'll grow into yourself, and whoever you end up being is okay. You can be a Seahawk or a skydive instructor, or you could be a construction worker or play Skylanders professionally. Don't ever let your dreams die, but also know that no matter where you end up or what you end up doing, I will always love you the same.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming tonight. I know every month you have a choice, and you came here, so I'm grateful that you chose to come here and share your poems or listen to the others sharing. Is there anyone else that would like a chance? Okay. I'd like to remind you that the next reading here for Soul Poetry Reading is November 20, and it will feature Jordan Keith and Felicia Gonzalez. So that will be a special reading. And then coming up on December 18, we have Jill McCabe Johnson and Tina Schumann. So please come back for those readings, and please bring more poems to read. I'd like to close by reading the Galway Canal poem again, Blackberry Eating. I love to go out in late September among the fat, overripe, icy black blackberries to eat blackberries for breakfast. The stalks very prickly, a penalty they earn for knowing the black art of blackberry making. And as I stand among them, lifting the stalks to my mouth, the ripest berries fall almost unbidden to my tongue, as words sometimes do. Certain peculiar words like strengths or squinched or bromed, many-lettered, one-syllabled lumps, which I squeeze, squinch open, and splurge well in the silent, startled, icy black language of blackberry eating in late September. Thank you for the 100th reading of Soul Food Poetry Night. Good night.